Okay, let's see if we can do like a quick um, walkthrough some of the items that I picked up over the past week for um, Infinity 25. So looking at the design system first, right? I'm gonna go test. When I was looking, some notable things that I noticed is if you are a UI UX background and you start for UX, you know that you have some new icon that's restrictive to that's available with Pega 25. Those are the lists. Now, if you work in banking, healthcare, or government, you know you have to deal with a lot of tables now, right? Some of this one stuff that I saw different from 23 that I think is going to be a great, nice to have is going to be this table group, which allow you to um, not the embedded data, the bulk singles. You get the bulk singles, but you also have the collapsible rows. Where can I get my collapsible? There we go. So this one I found this to be really, it's going to be really useful, especially when you're dealing with claims, or transactions that have embedded data structure. Like you get the list, in your list you have another list. That's a little bit kind of the structure I see that's going to be really useful. I think when I did my research, it was available already part of 24.2, but some of the people on 23 and Constellation didn't, I don't think, jump right into 24.2. So it's a good thing to have, and you can see those components. So if you one thing I did verify is if you need to be able to highlight those different words, you're eventually going to need to build a Pega component. Similar to adding a new button like we do in Constellation. Constellation is still going to be like Constellation, but there's some new stuff that I noticed. So when it comes to design system, I also noticed something interesting outside the tables. You have friends on checkboxes are the one that I saw three states, right? That to me was interesting. I was like, what are you going to use an intermediate state? It's usually, well, check or uncheck. So I'm curious to how some of the US guys, if you're going to be using any of these state, please let me know. I'm curious to see what kind of like use case you're going to be using Thursday. I'm going to be looking for it when I'm doing upscaling for UX pieces on 25. Another thing that I saw that was seeing you got the radio button also had the radio button also have three state, right? Those default, those checked in intermediate. I think the default could be like it seemed to like when it's disabled, but it wasn't really disabled. And when it came to table, of course, we talked about banking, we talked about government, we talked about healthcare being to using a lot of table. Another thing that I saw is the development experience. So when I was playing around with it, this felt like Pega is really caring about the developer again, right? So you have this wonderful UI inspector, which is really an improvement. You're able to see the different metadata specific to the field. It's also really useful when you're building a component, so you can be able to see what the metadata for the configuration file is going to be, and you can replicate some of that configuration inside your config.js when you're building a bigger component. And you also have quick information right there available. One of my favorite thing is you get that same feel of Cosmos React, and on Cosmos you get that same feel of Cosmos design and PRU Arcade, but you're also at the same time getting the performance that comes with React. It's loading fast. You have like its loading time is, my experience so far has been great. And you don't have to click load. And also as a developer, I saw um, that familiarity is that I mentioned, but you don't have to spend time again finding the rules. What am I saying? So for example, this is the rule. You see metadata. I think there was a way for me to open it right into, see this one. There we go. At the view level, right? this at the view level, remember like we did to have in UI kit section design, you can now click and it opened back into the dev environment, which is this view. And from here, that's the view you just opened, right? The billing history view. And then you can just open here and we line you in the case area where the view is, and you can do any modification. You can see here I was playing around with embedded data, case references, data references. It's really interesting. I think it's going to be a lot more play around with it. But so far, I would say it's a great experience for developer. You don't have to be looking for the rules. Another thing that I did find interesting was if that update is nice, and of course, when you do that, you don't need to. You no longer need to turn the display X, the debugger, which is now obsolete. That made me go and look at those different obsolete the updates that happened, what got decommissioned. We used to have to use debugger.txt, I think it was somewhere, but now you don't need to worry about that. You're able to find your rule right away, go to the rule, do the upgrade that you do. If you need something quick and simple, like just finding the structure that you need to be able to update your DS component, you have it right away. I found that really useful. I need to publish a component to see something you're not going to be able to do so far that I've not seen. Well, maybe I need to go is, let me see, I probably need to try that. I want to send a little bit, but I haven't been able to add buttons particularly. It's already, that part is still, I think, imposed as part of the system. But I wonder if business need to, let's say, rename it. There's different way we can rename it. Those are not out of the box. We can certainly do that. But so far, I like how quickly this loads, and it's really smooth. Yeah. Another thing that you could look at is, well, you get a lot of rules, right? A lot of rules generated. So obviously you start by going through this one, right? You will start going to the Pega blueprint, you generate a blueprint, you import the blueprint, you create couple of case, design a case according to your blueprint. Now import that in the application, and also you import in the application, you get a bunch of rule generated. From the bunch of rule generated, you go now, you configure, and hopefully you review your rules, right? You don't just merge it to your branch rule set, but you get a different rule. When you talk about the different rule types generated, is I see a lot of different rule that got pasted. The new one, like obviously you already paid attention, you got tools that get generated. You get that's a new type that you get. I think you got personalized, that was already there. Inside a little bit got better. What is agent? You got also agent. So if you look at tools, I think, let's say for example the agent that I was looking at. When it comes to agent, this is where you typically configure your agent. You add the knowledge. These are the 4 options that I found you could do. You can add the knowledge buddy. Those are what you get out of the box available. Now, of course, we have to play around a little bit more to be able to effectively configure the view agent. Can add also different actions related to what agent do. So these are the options that I saw available out of the box. I tried playing, and from the UI portion piece, I saw you could add. So you could add those agents in the view. Also, you can add them as part of the utilities panel also here. Those are some of the stuff that I've seen so far. You could come in as a chat helping the user. It could come in as a part of a utility panel.